Under the golden sunlight of the rice fields, Tieu quietly harvested crops for hire to earn a little extra money, unaware that the woman working beside her was Truong's mother, the man she had longed for day and night. The two spoke kindly, sharing stories of hardship and motherhood, never realizing the invisible thread of fate connecting them. One had lost her son, the other her husband. Two souls adrift under the same sky. Could destiny be leading them toward each other and guiding Truong home? Don't take your eyes off the screen, because this seemingly ordinary meeting might just reveal the truth behind Truong's mysterious disappearance. Like and subscribe to follow the next episode. It was harvest season, and the morning sun spread a golden glow across the fields. Tieu wore a faded brown shirt and a conical hat, holding a sickle firmly in her hand. Each stroke was quick and steady. The cheerful voices of the villagers filled the air, blending with the scent of freshly cut straw, lively yet peaceful at the same time. She had volunteered to help several families in the village who were short on workers, partly to keep herself busy and partly to escape the emptiness she felt since Truong had disappeared without a trace. Across the field, an older woman, about her mother's age, was also harvesting. The woman's frame was thin, her clothes worn, but her movements were slow and deliberate. When Tieu came closer, she smiled and greeted her, then joined in gathering the stalks and tying bundles of rice. They exchanged small talk about the weather and how the harvest had gone this year, two strangers, unaware that fate had quietly brought them together. Every now and then, the woman glanced at Tieu with a strange expression, something familiar, something tender, as if touching a forgotten memory. And Tieu, in turn, felt her heart sink, as though an invisible thread connected the two of them. They worked side by side under the sun until it began to set, then quietly went their separate ways, neither knowing that the woman was Truong's mother, the very man Tieu still waited for with every breath. In the late afternoon, the sun poured down over the fields, bathing the bundles of harvested rice in golden light. Sweat glistened on Tieu's forehead as she sat by the edge of the field, wiping it away with the back of her hand. Beside her was a middle-aged woman, thin-tanned by years, under the sun, her hair streaked with gray. The two had been working side by side since morning, speaking only a few words here and there before returning to their work. Neither of them knew that in the middle of this vast field, an invisible thread was quietly tying their fates together. "There's a lot of rice out here, isn't there?" Tieu said as she lined up the bundles neatly. The woman smiled faintly, her voice low and raspy. "Yeah, plenty. These fields are wide, but we're short on workers. It's lucky you came to help." Tieu nodded with a small smile. She wasn't from this village. She had come after hearing that the area needed day laborers, hoping to earn a bit of money and keep herself occupied. "Back home, the flood washed everything away," she said softly. "The fields are gone. We lost everything." The woman paused, her eyes dimming. "Oh, that's terrible. What about your family? Are they all right?" Tieu sighed. "When the water rose, it swept through our house. Now my son and I are staying with some relatives." The woman nodded slowly, sympathy in her eyes. "Poor thing. The weather's cruel these days. Just when you think you'll have a good harvest, everything's gone in an instant." Tieu forced a small smile and went back to tying the straw. After a while, she spoke again, her tone gentle. "How long have you been working here, ma'am?" "Several years now," the woman replied. "It's peaceful here. No floods. Just hard work. But as long as I can still move, I'll keep doing it." Tieu glanced over. The woman's hands were rough and covered in dirt, yet steady and skilled as she cut through the stalks. A mix of respect and sadness welled up in Tieu's chest. Their talk eventually turned to family. "So do your parents live with you?" the woman asked. "No, just my mother," Tieu said. "She remarried, so I live on my own." "That must be tough being by yourself." Tieu smiled faintly. "I'm used to it. I have a little boy." The woman looked up in surprise. "Oh, and your husband?" Tieu hesitated, then said quietly, "I'm a single mom. He left a long time ago. I don't even know if he's still alive." The woman let out a sigh and shook her head. "That's hard. Raising a child alone isn't easy. You have to handle everything yourself." Tieu gave a small, sad smile, her eyes drifting toward the golden field. "I'm used to it now. I just want my boy to grow up well and study hard. As for the rest, I've learned to let it rest in peace." They fell silent again. The only sounds were the rustle of rice stalks and the rhythmic slice of their sickles. After a while, the woman spoke as if to ease the quiet. "How old is your son?" "7," Tieu replied softly. "He's a good kid. Just keeps asking about his dad." The woman nodded, her expression dimming as if she had just heard a story that mirrored her own. "I used to be like you," she said after a pause. "I've been on my own for a long time too." Tieu looked up curious. "You live alone too?" "Yes," the woman said, her voice soft. "I had a husband once and a son. A good boy. But he left and never came back." Tieu froze. Something in the woman's tone stirred a deep ache inside her. Something strange yet familiar. She didn't press further, only whispered, "You must miss him a lot." "I do," the woman said quietly. "But what can you do? Now, it's just me and the fields." The sun began to soften and the air cooled. Their faces were streaked with sweat, but their eyes carried a quiet calm, as if sharing their burdens had lightened them both. When only a few rows of rice were left, the woman looked up and smiled kindly. "You're a hard worker. When we're done, come by my house for a bit. It's just at the edge of the village, not far." Tieu hesitated, then nodded. "All right, I'll stop by." "Good," the woman said warmly. "It's nice to have company sometimes." Tieu smiled as she watched the woman walk ahead, her brown shirt swaying gently in the evening breeze. Neither of them knew that the woman who had just invited her home was Truong's mother. What seemed like an ordinary meeting between two strangers was in truth a turning point, the beginning of a long-buried secret, slowly coming to light as the past quietly made its way back to them, bringing both women closer to a truth neither was ready for. In the late afternoon, the golden light of the setting sun spilled over the low rooftops along the hillside, where Tieu and the woman she had just met, Truong's mother, were walking back toward the village. After a long day, harvesting rice, they carried bundles of straw on their shoulders, their clothes smeared with mud, their faces tired but peaceful. Tieu had no idea that the woman beside her was the mother of the man she had been waiting for all this time, Truong. As they walked, The older woman smiled kindly. "Come by my house for a bit," she said. "It's close by. Nothing fancy, but I've got a pot of hot tea. We can rest and talk." Tieu hesitated, then smiled. "All right, I'd love to." The woman's house sat quietly halfway up the hill. Wooden walls, an old mossy tile roof surrounded by green vegetable patches and bright yellow wildflowers. Stepping inside, Tieu couldn't help but whisper, "It's beautiful here, ma'am. So neat and peaceful." The woman chuckled. "It's just a small place. I live alone, so I don't need much. My children all went away to work. Years ago, haven't seen them since." Something about those words caught Tieu off guard. "My children went away." She didn't know that one of them was Truong, the man she thought about every single day. The woman poured tea into small cups, steam curling in the air. Her voice softened. "You've had it rough, dear. Raising a child alone while working the fields isn't easy. If you don't have a place to stay, you can stay here for a while. This house has plenty of space, and I get lonely." Tieu quickly shook her head. "Thank you, but I'm staying with a friend for now. I'll probably move soon, but I really appreciate your kindness." "Don't be shy," the woman said with a smile. "If you stay here, it'd make me happy. There's a small house next door. You're welcome anytime." Tieu smiled and bowed her head in gratitude. A strange warmth filled her chest, a feeling of familiarity she couldn't quite explain. Maybe it was the woman's voice, calm, low, and gentle, so much like Truong's. They walked together around the house. The woman pointed to her garden, the bamboo shoots, and the palm grove behind the hill. "This hill belongs to me," she said. "I sold part of it last year, just kept this bit. If you ever want to live here, you can help take care of these palms for me." Tieu laughed softly. "You're too kind, I couldn't possibly." "Oh, it's just a bit of help." The woman smiled. "It gives you something to do. When the bamboo shoots come in, they're delicious fried with garlic. I love farm work." Tieu said, smiling. They strolled through the garden. The woman pointed out the rows of vegetables. "The soil. Here's good. Everything grows well." "I plant too much, really. Half the time, I can't finish it all. I just do it to pass the time. Keeps me busy." Tieu nodded. "I understand. Working helps you forget things for a while." The woman chuckled. "Exactly. I get lonely after dinner, no one to talk to. That's why I chew betel just for company." Tieu laughed. "It's become a habit, hasn't it?" "Yeah," the woman said, smiling. "Can't go a day without it. The burn and bitterness keep me awake." They sat together on the porch, gazing out over the golden fields. The sunset bathed everything in a soft, warm glow, peaceful and bittersweet. Tieu looked at the humble wooden home and said quietly, "I think I could really find peace living here." The woman smiled, her tone gentle. "If you ever want to come, I'm here all by myself, no one around but the wind and the chickens. Stay with me, and we can be like mother and daughter." Those words struck something deep inside Tieu. Mother and daughter? The phrase echoed in her chest, stirring memories of her own mother, who had remarried, and of Truong, the man who had vanished without a trace. "How long have you lived here?" she asked softly. "Over 10 years," the woman replied. My son went away to work and never came back. He never called. The woman shook her head, eyes drifting to the horizon. No. They said there was an accident somewhere, but no one's sure. I just keep waiting. Tieu froze, her heart tightening. A son who disappeared, a mother still waiting. It sounded all too familiar. The woman stood, brushing off her hands. Come on, have a look around. There's a small stream behind the hill and a few palm trees. If you stay, I'll give you a little plot by the stream to build on. Tieu shook her head quickly. Thank you, but I can't right now. My son's still small. I need to focus on his schooling. Of course, the woman nodded. But remember, you're always welcome here. Bring your boy sometime too. It'd be nice to have company. The sky turned purple as evening birds flew over the hill. Tieu stood and bowed slightly. I should go. I need to be back early for the harvest tomorrow. The woman took her hand, rough warm and trembling slightly. Take care, dear. I really like you, you know. I don't invite just anyone into my home. Tieu smiled, softly, nodded, and walked away. Behind her, the woman stood, watching, her eyes filled with something deep part, longing part, recognition. As Tieu walked down the dirt path, her heart grew heavy. There was something about that woman, her eyes, her voice, even her gaze, that stirred an ache deep within her. She didn't know that just a few houses away, in a small wooden hut behind the hill, Truong was slowly recovering from an injury. He still couldn't remember everything, but in his mind, there was always a fleeting image, a woman with a gentle smile and eyes warm like the early summer sun. And the woman who had saved him was the very same one who had just seen Tieu off. Fate was quietly weaving its broken threads back together, silently, patiently, leading them toward the day when both ends would finally meet in the light of the truth waiting to be revealed. The next morning, dew still clung to the tips of the grass as sunlight streamed through the trees, spilling gently over the old wooden roof where Truong lived. He had been awake for a while, already used to the quiet rhythm of life in this peaceful hillside village. The sound of roosters, crowing birds chirping, and firewood crackling in the kitchen filled the air, wrapping the house in warmth. But inside him, there was still an emptiness, a strange void, as if something important was missing, something he couldn't remember. He stepped out onto the porch and took a deep breath. The scent of damp wood and faint smoke mixed with the cool mist, making his head spin slightly. Every time he bent down or looked far into the distance, a sharp pain would shoot through his temples. Flashes of broken memories, flickering and fading before he could grasp them. He remembered. There was a woman, her hand holding his tightly, her voice soft as the wind. But her face, he couldn't see clearly. Inside, the woman who had saved him, the one he now called Mother, was cooking porridge over the fire. Seeing him step out, she smiled kindly. You're up early. Feeling any better today? He nodded. I'm fine now, Mom. I'll go chop some wood in the back. Be careful, she said softly. You're still recovering. Don't overdo it. Truong smiled, picked up the axe, and headed outside. Sunlight filtered through the trees, casting golden lines across his sturdy frame. He was regaining strength. Each swing of the axe was strong and steady, but suddenly a sharp pain hit him like a wave. He dropped the axe, clutching his head, falling to his knees. In his mind, a flash, a girl in a white dress, smiling under the sun. Truong. Come home soon. Dewey's waiting for you. The voice rang clear, almost beside his ear. His eyes widened. Dewey. Who's Dewey? And who is she? The pain intensified. Sweat rolled down his forehead as he struggled to breathe. Deep inside, a name echoed faintly, Tieu. But as he tried to remember more, everything dissolved like smoke. Only the sound of the fallen axe and distant birds remained. Meanwhile, just beyond the hill, Tieu was walking down a small dirt path toward the market. She carried a basket of rice and vegetables to trade for salt, unaware that Truong was on the other side of the same hill, only a few hundred meters away. She paused for a moment, gazing at the distant mountains, a quiet ache rising in her chest. Every time the wind blew, she thought of Truong, the man who had vanished without a word. Where are you? Are you still alive? Do you ever think of me or of our child? Her hand rested gently on her belly. The baby inside stirred as if to comfort her. My sweet one, she whispered, your father will come back. I know he will. At that same moment, back at the wooden house, the woman stepped outside and saw Truong sitting silently beside the pile of wood. What's wrong, son? Your head hurting again. He nodded slowly. Mom, I heard someone calling my name, a name that sounded so familiar, but I can't remember who it belongs to. She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Don't push yourself. Your memory will come back in time. For now, just focus on getting better. He said nothing, lowering his head. But deep down, that name Tieu kept echoing soft, yet persistent. Later that afternoon, he helped her plant vegetables in the garden. From there, he could see a narrow dirt path leading down to the rice fields, the same one Tieu had walked that very morning. He stared at it for a long time, feeling an unexplainable pull. What are you looking at? She asked. I'm not sure, he murmured. But that place, it feels familiar, like I've been there before. She smiled faintly, though worry flickered in her eyes. Maybe it's part of your old memories. Maybe, he said quietly, it just feels like someone out there is waiting for me. That night, as the oil lamp flickered to life, Truong sat by the doorway, gazing into the darkness. Fireflies blinked among the trees, and the wind whispered through the leaves. He closed his eyes, trying to picture the face from his dreams, the woman in white, the soft voice calling his name. But the harder he tried, the more it faded. Down in the valley, Tieu sat by her window, sewing a small shirt for her young son Dewey. Outside, he was sound asleep. The light from the lamp touched her tired but tender face. She looked up at the starry sky and whispered, Truong, if you're still alive, please come back. I don't need anything else, just you. Up on the hill, Truong looked at that same sky. It was as if an invisible thread connected them so close they could almost reach each other. But fate wasn't ready yet. Between them stood a fragile wall of forgotten memories, and a mother hiding a truth too heavy to speak. Night fell. The wind carried a faint whisper. Truong. He opened his eyes, looking around. No one was there, only the moonlight shimmering over the wooden roof, and the sound of his heartbeat echoing like an answer to Tieu's call so near, yet still impossibly far.